look at it dispassionately and set up a machine that's going to create cash flow, and a specific kind of cash flow called free cash flow. That means you can take money out of it without it impacting the trajectory of growth that your company needs, the resources, the lifeblood. That free cash flow means that you're playing the game well, right? Money you can take out and then do your passion, right? So if you dispassionately set up that machine, and then once that's set up, you're going to listen and deal with metrics and numbers in a dispassionate way, because numbers don't give a shit how you feel. They just don't care, right? They're telling you a story that, you know, if I speak Chinese and I'm somebody speaking Spanish to me, I'm not going to understand what they're saying. Most business owners don't understand the language of business is numbers, right? And so you must learn to understand what those numbers are telling you. Keith Cunningham, who's been a mentor of mine, an amazing business mind, taught me that principle. And he's got a product out there called CFO Scoreboard that aligns the numbers with the right activities. And it's a great product. But so then you shift that in. Now, once you get that set up, what makes your business run is your passionate commitment, falling in love with the outcome of your client. You have to fall in love with the outcome of your client. Another great thing that I learned, right? Which is if I fall in love with their outcome instead of my product, now there's a much different association. If I'm in love, let's look it into relationships, which I'm not good at, by the way. But if we associated that to relationships and we said, if I fall in love with the outcomes of my partner, why would she leave me, right? Or why would he leave you, right? Because we're in love with we fall in love and we want to receive love the same way, or we want to give love the same way we receive it, and that may be causing a disconnect. Well, we fall in love with I'm the next Tony Robbins, I'm the next this, I'm the next that, and we fall in love with our own thing, and then we go try to jam it into the marketplace, and we wonder why people won't pay top dollar. We wonder why people leave us, why people don't hire us in the first place or don't use our product in the first place, because we fell in love with our own shit. Now, falling in love with somebody else's stuff demands of you the skill set of communication, dropping the ego and going, hey, Janie, hey, Melody, how do you feel, love? And then shut the hell up, right? And listen to the feedback that you get, and not even just shut up, but take notes. Same thing goes for our clients and our customers. How does that, what is it that you believe that this product or service is going to do for you? Shut the hell up and go blah, 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 blah. And if you hear something on the list that your product doesn't do, you don't go, that's not right. That's not right. You're going to take this product and it's going to be blue even though you like purple, you know? And, you know, it's the same exact thing in a relationship. I don't care if, you know, you like gifts. It doesn't matter to me. My thing is quality time. Spend quality time with me. Me. That's how most business owners are operating. And then the second thing that they do is they get into this thing called an association of other people who are delivering the same product, and those same people haven't stopped. They fell in love with their own damn product and not the outcome of the thing. And you've got a group of underserved clients. I don't care what your product is or what your service is. If you can have a direct conversation with that human being or that group of human beings or that entity and say, how do you experience love? In other words, what is it that if I could make the perfect product or service that I deliver, how would you like to receive that and what would it do for you? Okay. Second thing is that people hire completely the wrong way, including themselves. If we're a solopreneur, right? We come into this thing and we say, you know, I know bookkeeping, I know this, I've got this strength. Usually it's a product or service that you've got experience with, and you start a business because you think you're going to deliver it better than somebody else. Then you start to hire your first piece. I hate bookkeeping. So you put out a little ad. I need a bookkeeper, right? And then you get somebody, well, how it happens is, my cousin's nephew's dog walker just got out of business school, you know, for doing bookkeeping. And then you bring him in, not understanding that you have to understand the outcome of that position before you hire anybody for it. Secondly, after you've hired them, you have to fall in love with your employee's outcome. See a familiar trend happening here, right? Because if I don't know why Sam or Joe or Tom or Mary or Letitia or whoever comes to work for me, if I don't understand that, guess what I have? I have a dispassionate robot that's there. I have their arms and their elbows, not their heads and their hearts. Another statement that I heard from Keith was, that I learned that I love. If you attach the outcome of your organization to their outcome personally, now you've got something, right? And so that finding out, just understanding, set your business up as a machine that creates cash flow, okay? Secondly, how you do that is by falling in love with the outcome of your client. Thirdly, and be open to that completely transforming the way that you deliver it, whatever it is that you do. Thirdly, fall in love with the outcome of your employees. And that takes, guess what? Same thing when you're in a relationship or for your customer, having a conversation that does not allow the first surface bullshit answer to count. Hey, why are you working for me? Well, to take care of my family and because I love you. Oh, good. That satisfies the weak-minded to go, oh, they like me. That's good. Which is the only reason why they act the way they do and don't challenge your stupid, our stupid assumptions, is because your liking them is what ensures their check's going to cash on Friday. I don't want that. I want people to come to my office and say, you dumb son of a butt, guess that's the dumbest thing that you could do. And I'm surrounded by people who are fierce, intellectual human beings. The reason why the product that we ended up putting into a consulting organization works is because I put $1,000 bounty on for anybody that could find a hole in it. And it cost me well over $130,000. I thought the thing was really good when I got done with it, and it wasn't. It was $130,000 worth of shit ideas, right, that got poked holes in. But guess how much that's made me into the future? I won't even tell you. Because it would make you sick. But that's the value of having people putting the ego aside and having people tell you where your idea and your delivery and your attitude and your verbal, your words and all this other kind of things are weak, right? So that's the sort of person you want to have in your organization. And the only way you're going to start that relationship is by knowing why they're with you and committing the outcome of your business to serving those people who then work for you or work with you. That's 3. I don't know.
So I'm taking massive notes here, and I'm just glad that we have a playback on this podcast after it airs, because, one of the things that you touched on, first of all, is the aspects of the key of listening. So a college professor of mine actually broke down listening in 4 aspects, which is the initial S, which is to sense. I is to interpret, right? E is to evaluate, and R before you respond. We actually call it the art of searing, of really doing that laser sharp focus on what is being communicated and not emotionally respond to it. So that's one. So again, it's sense, interpret, evaluate, respond. So I was first of all surprised that there was even a college course for listening. But it goes to show you the necessity of it, because of 2 ears and 1 mouth. That's not often practice.
Well, I think even a step before that would be a cue, right? For learn how to ask good questions.
Quality of questions,
right? Like if you put a cue at the beginning of that, man, that's rock solid. I love that.
There you go. Cues here. We're about to tell the professor. We just added initial before that.
Yep.
But also, one thing that is, and I love that fact that we are completely aligned in this, is you air your skeletons before the public, before they can nail you to the cross with it, because that completely disempowers them from using it against you. I love that the spaces that folks like you bring in, where I said there's nothing that I hide, absolutely nothing that you could actually, nail me on the cross for, because this is transparency at its finest. And you find power and authenticity when you are actually being 100% transparent.
Right.
because you remove any hold or control that they have with you. I actually had a young mentee running for office, and I gave that exact same, I gave that exact same wisdom that you just dropped here.
Right.
As politicians and celebrities get in so much trouble because they keep everything in the closet.
Yeah.
But when you're having
and there's a flip side to that, Melody, which is really powerful, which is that you tell the stuff because you want to, you're just controlling your own narrative, right? You're telling it from your perspective. And what it does is it creates a space, because I'll tell you what else exists out there. And I know both of you have experienced this, is that people make up lies and bullshit about you, right? Even outside of the stuff that I've admitted, right? I've heard stories of stuff that I'm like, well, that's a really great story. I wonder where that came from, because I will tell the truth about my experience in these different relationships. And trust me, like I say, I have done some damage. I mean, some of it was even on purpose, and some of it was unconscious, and some of it was just because of lack of skill sets. So I have caused some damage, and I've caused some pain in some areas. But when somebody comes out, because this is what happens with a lot of people. When you come out as a light and you look, you've been vulnerable. That's when douchebags, sorry, excuse the language, but this is how we talk about it, right? Douchebags want to take advantage of that vulnerability. They say, well, he made this mistake, and then they start to attach little lies to it because there's a kernel of truth, right? And how do you fight that? How I figured out to fight that is just those people who make up lies and start with a kernel of truth and try to build on it for their own purposes. Everybody in their life that knows them knows that they are lying. Have you found that to be true in you guys' lives? Right?
There's a saying, and I always like to share this saying, Jason, because as a business owner, I've experienced a lot of different things through the years, is that we have the cobras and we have the pythons. It's the pythons we worry about because they are right in our organization and they slowly squeeze. So I, as a psychotherapist, on the other hand, really believe in that. When we can embrace our stories and we can be congruent with who we are and not be ashamed of who we are, but we learn from who we are, it's the greatest power that we can have. And the greatest thing that we can walk with is our weapons, because to your point, we're not walking in fear. Because if we live our dichotomous nature, we're walking in fear that people are going to find me out, or if someone leaves their organization, I wonder if she's going to say, or he's going to say this, that takes away the power. So when they do come, to your point, you are able to walk in your confidence and being secure in who you are. So I think that is awesome to be able to be that and to model that and to be able to share that with us, that we need to first kind of cut ourselves open and understand who we are. And if there's any parts that are hidden from us, that's what's going to hold us back. It has nothing to do with even the other person. If we can't tell it.
And what both of you are doing, and I love this about your show, what both of you are doing is this wisdom gets into people, because a lot of times, when you haven't been exposed to things that, like the information that you're sharing, that what happens is you think that the whole world operates like that. You think everybody talks shit behind everybody's back, right? And so when you expose this, what that does is that gives people who didn't realize this a knowledge. When somebody comes up to them and all they're doing is trashing someone else, I put a post up a couple of weeks ago, right? Just say, thank you. I appreciate that. Now move just aside. What's that door behind you? Oh, it's a closet. Okay. Do you mind if I look in your closet? Because it's going to impact, I think, what you're saying and the position you're taking. And you open it. Oh, look at all your skeletons. Well, look at all the stuff you got back there. And you dare open your mouth about her or him, right? It empowers people to go, if you're talking shit or negatively about someone else, right? That reflects 100% back on you as a human being, and you're the weak one, and you're the powerless one, and you're the person that I want to extract out of my life before I ever let you in it. I'll find out for myself, right? I have some of my best friends, ex-drug dealers, been in prison for murder, all the different things. Some of the people that made the biggest mistakes in life have the balls to come out and, whatever the female version of that would be, but they have the guts, because there's actually more women who have made mistakes and come out and done this, that have done prison time. And Kat Dawn's one of them, right? With the domestic violence side. She has